On Sunday, April 14th, 2013, the Northern Central chapter of the PR Technical and Historical Society had our annual meeting at the Harris Tower in downtown Harrisburg, instead of the usual church meeting in downtown York. I took advantage of this event and did some railfanning beforehand. I caught a lot of this stuff on this day. Among the highlights included a BNSF 70 Mac on 64W, catching the interstate heritage units on Z4R, 2 light power moves, an all EMD 16N, the usual B32-8W on the Pennsylvanian, 19G with an OLS Dash 9 leading, 2 SD60Es, and finally 15T with an X conrail Dash 8 leading with a nut monster Leslie RS4L. I left my house around 8:30 a.m. and got to Cove, PA, my first stop, around 9:30 a.m. On my way up to Cove, I heard that Z4R with the interstate trailing was heading through Aqueduct, PA. I hurried up to the first spot. I caught empty crude oil train 65R heading west with a pair of HH ES44ACs. I went to the other crossing Cove for this shot. After 65R cleared, I learned that Z4R was stopped. I made a quick stop at the famous CP Sheets and got some snacks and then rushed over to the milepost 1116 signal bread. When I got there, my pal Andrew Gipe and his friend Steve were waiting for Z4R as well. About 5 minutes later, the Z4R came around the bend and there was the interstate, also known as the Creamsicle. This is my second time seeing the interstate. The first time I had seen 8105, Ike Carter met NS5420 conrail one of the SQ-50's red and blue back in January of this year. After that, I stayed at Cove for a while. Not long after came Chicago-bound intermodal train 21E with a trio of horsehead locomotives consisting of an ex-Conrail SD60I sandwiched between two NSGs. About 10 minutes after 21E came 20K with a trio of NSGs led by NS ES44ACs.I. I soon met up and hung up with a guy named Andy. He and I had met before previously the prior year while waiting for NS5420 conrail body when she was on 11J that day at Newport. Andy and I talked for a while on how we talked about he's a veteran of the Lurgan branch Aiken and Messiah line. We talked about different subjects, related subjects such as the Penn Central and Conrail's abandoning track. Chapter 20K arrived loaded auto-wrecked 18N with a pair of -9 40CWs. The trailing unit had a Leslie RS5T, which unfortunately was trailing instead of leading. Continuing the eastbound parade was mixed freight 16N bound for Allentown. An all EMD last up made up the train with NSSD 70 2504 with a killer P5 horn and a lot of heritage cars in the contest. Near the end of the train, a westbound light power move sneaks by with 4 -9s and a standard cab -9 in very faded thoroughbred paint. 16N came Amtrak 42 NSO4T, the eastbound Pennsylvanian. Leading the train was B32-8W513. The last train we saw at Cove was 23Z heading west for Chicago. Notice the SD60E in the consist, one of two I saw on this day. After that, I headed over to my meeting at Harris Tower. I stopped at Burger King, got a couple of Junior Whoppers and a medium fries, and headed over to the tower. Right as we got there, westbound 38Q was moving through the station for Enola just up ahead. During the meeting, I saw a few trains. Please excuse the background noise. I filmed these trains to give you what it's like on the other side of Harrisburg. First train was a light engine move and all wide cab assortment locomotives.
And of course, they'll keep the train. It'll be the nickel plate engine, the N&W auxiliary tender, the PRR and the silver passenger cars. And then the following week, Memorial Day weekend, they're running Saturday, Sunday, and Monday trips from Lewistown to Altoona and back. Same consist, same PRR, heritage unit, everything. With one exception, when they load the train at Lewistown and go to Gallitzin and back, when they unload at Lewistown, they'll bring the train back to Enola, run out of Rockville, back into Enola, and put it to bed. So that Saturday morning and Sunday morning and Monday morning, there's photo ops between Enola.
Next up was 11J with an ex-Conrail T60M trailing.
Talk about
light here.
normal the switches.
What does it say? Track 7, track 8?
Reverse.
But what was it? Track 7, 10 out? Yeah. That means train 7 right.
The all switches are considered to be in a normal position to the left. You look up here right in front of me, switch number 37, about the middle, and it's got a brake. The normal position is the main line track 8. The reverse position is gives service to track 24.
Do they have like a control safe on this thing so you could screw it up and two trains run into each other?
That's what this does. And I've already been hindering things. For instance, I did not get a signal. The signal position on the position is straight vertical, and it's supposed to be set in a little D-time. Well, the springs didn't give, so it was sort of that's a little off. And it wouldn't close. And that was all it took to shut down about half the machine. So you want all the signal where we can do a signal, we can do a little wiggle. Are we in position? Lock. The direction travel. Okay.
Train
Talk about the switches.
LCL4.
Set the switches first.
By
Then
port
give the signals.
on track
Once
3.
you give the signals, things are pretty locked. If you make a mistake, I did earlier, this is what you have to do. You take the switch, the signal, and you shove it back, take away the signal, then you run time. This particular timer here controls switches signals 2 through 54. There's another one over there, another one over there, another one over there with signal 10 only. Signal 10 is a freight signal.
22.
The timer here is
By
3.5
wall
minutes.
on track 1
Short.
at
It's
2:04.
running, it means it just tells you, engage the timer, and then there's a short timer and a long timer, depending on the signal.
PRS9.
You have to either wait a minute or wait a
Westbound
half.
by wall
Unlock the
on
machine.
track 2
Correct it,
at
and reset it.
2:05.
Now, what we have right here is, what's this train going out?
Train track 7, part of town. That signal right there on the floor is connected to this one here. So right now it's clear because it's
You
5:30.
can step back from the signal, or one thing, what's looking.
When this train hits it, it'll drop to stop.
So,
The next signal.
they use three reasons for using the works. One is fixing the light bulbs in an area with catenary. You don't want to climb or carry in ladders. The second thing is that all those passenger cars have big boxy corners, and they tend to swing out and catch things. That's why the works
Harrisburg Instead.
You would think there's no redundancy in
03.
small
Arrival
rescue
track 7.
So, and in the alert system, one filament's out, come fix it.
Freeze the inbound freight for
There's redundancy is over. Signals,
industries.
and the signals will control multiple, signal levers will control multiple.
After 11J, my meeting split into two parts. One for the nearby Amtrak station, and one to stay at the tower. We headed over to the station where I checked out the mighty GG1 and cabin car, caboose for your non-Pensy fans. Returning to the tower, 19G hovered over the station for an hour with an Operation Lifesaver -9 leading. Around this time, I heard that 64W with the BNSF 70 Mac that I had come to catch was at the fuel pad. Leading the fuel pad was intermodal train 22W, 4 NSGs leading the way. I ran into Mr. Geip once more at the tower.
Now, I made an outline which I have to refer to here, which I'll do. That's what this book is about.
22W.
Okay, what I'd like to talk about is I have an appointment with the real estate man who's handling that particular property on Tuesday at 1:30 in the afternoon. Actually going to get into place, and my original idea was I've never set foot in there. I just was never able to get in there. Some people that I've been talking with here today have been in there before in times past. I was wondering, A, if the original machine is still intact, and B, if the original model board was still intact. In talking with Bill Lewis a little while ago, he's more knowledgeable about that. He says the machine probably still is there, but the model board is not. It's in private hands. Now, that can be a blessing in disguise. I'll address that later. But preliminarily, what this is about is, I do have a tour of the building scheduled, and I want to ask the real estate man if the tower itself is going to be sold as a real estate deal with the tool shed or not. As some of you may or may not know, the sign on the outside of the property says a $35,000 asking price. I will, of course, needless to say, some of you, most of you, know what the condition of that building is from the roof down. The roof needs a lot of work, if not total replacement. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So I want to ask him what repairs exactly are needed. And of course, I don't know when the last time the place was even physically open. So I'm sure there's rat's nests in there and insect infestation. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt about that. But all of that, as other places have been rehabbed in certain other conditions, all of that can be addressed at a later time. I don't mean much down the road. I mean a short time, but a later time. Having said that, what I want to find out from the real estate man is if it's, well, this is before you had informed me about whether it's still railroad owned or if it's going, if they've had any inquiry.
Around 4 p.m., 19G headed west for the fuel pad with 64W coming east. 19G moving west with the Operation Lifesaver -9 leading and an SD60 trailing along with another -9. That's good. Andy. '64W finally came east with a Dash 9 40CW, an ex-conrail SD60M, and the BNSF 70 Mac for power. then moved over to Humbolstown, PA at milepost 103 on the NS Harrisburg line for the final train of the day. 15T. A massive Leslie-equipped ex-con was the leader on the small fixed freight. An SD60 was trailing as well. That concluded our day around the Harrisburg area. This was clearly one of my better days. Thanks for watching Gillespie Rail Productions. Please check our Facebook page for updates.